Welcome everybody back to another MLB catch-up episode here on Driving to the Top Productions. I'm your guest host tonight, Jamie Malloy, as the regular host. Mr. Adam McNally, a producer, still doesn't have the equipment yet, so I'm going to be back and doing this, and I'm ready to talk some off-season baseball as we are about a month away from spring training. Man, how fast is that, folks? Anyway, let's bring on our guests and get the show going. First, ladies and gentlemen, let's bring on our first guest. He is the head of this whole honcho, the reason why Driving to the Top production exists. He's a big Pittsburgh, diehard Pittsburgh sports fan through and through. Steelers, Pirates, Penguins, and for the Pittsburgh Maulers before this year in the UFL. So everybody, let's welcome Mr. Adam McNally. Hashtag at Sports Talking It. How you doing, Adam?
Well, you give a hell of an introduction. Let me tell you something. Yes, my internet, it still sucks, and I'm gonna get it fixed here hopefully within the next couple days. Yeah, we're ready to talk ball. Let's get this shit rolling.
Yeah, I know you're excited, Adam, and I was excited. Now, our next guest, ladies and gentlemen, is one of the newest members of the Driving to the Top production family. He's a Boston Red Sox fan, and he will be covering them on this podcast, and he also will be doing his own wrestling podcast. Everybody, please welcome for the first time on Driving to the Top Productions on the MLB Catch-Up Show, Mr. John Anthony. Hey, John, how you doing?
Guys, how we doing? Nice to be here.
So, tell everybody, before we begin, tell everybody a little bit about yourself, since you're one of the newest members to our team.
Yeah, no problem. Yeah, my name's John Anthony. Over here, the creator of Chair Shot Sports with me and my team. We're up here in the Northeast, so we cover obviously the Boston Red Sox, Patriots, things like that. We also cover San Francisco 49ers, wrestling, and a little bit of betting too. So a little bit of hodgepodge of everything everyone wants to hear about. So
yeah, that's awesome. And like I said, congratulations to your 49ers playing again in the Super Bowl this week. It's kind of a shame that it has to be a rematch with the familiar foe, but at least you got in again.
Definitely excited. It's going to be a great game.
Mm-hmm. And last but certainly not least, folks, we have a very special gentleman who is a former catcher for the Pittsburgh Pirates, and is now turned MLB host. He's done stuff for AT&T Online, Fox Baseball, and also for Outkick. Ladies and gentlemen, please welcome Mr. Mike McHenry. How's it going, Mike?
What's up, guys? How we doing?
We're good.
Thank you for that nice intro. I thought you were hyped up. I think you should be a hype man for a living. You know, if this podcast game doesn't work, this live, I think you should maybe be a hype man, Jamie.
Oh, thank you. I've been known as kind of that in high school when I was the team reporter and also manager for football and lacrosse, and then I was kind of the hype man when I was an intern at St. John Fisher College, where I just graduated from with the football team.
Nice.
Yeah, I'm a broadcaster, but I'm very hyped. I mean, I'm always cheering loudly, very vocally for my Bills, the Yankees, the Sabres, and everything. So it's pretty
Bills,
cool.
the Yankees. I mean, man, that's a hodgepodge. Jeez Louise, right. That's different.
Well, yeah, it's
You
different, especially because one team was obviously known for winning a bunch of World Series, and then the other team was in a playoff drought
almost
for 17 years and has now got a quarterback.
Yeah, great quarterback.
Yep. So, you guys ready to talk some baseball then? I think we should get it going then.
Let's go.
Chop it up.
Okay, so
Go ahead.
the news that I got, it's mostly Yankee stuff because, and I want to tell people the reason why I have mostly Yankee stuff is because in a month I will be doing a baseball, New York baseball show with my current co-host of the Buffalo Sports Conversation Room, Mr. Joe Dahlia, who's a Mets fan. And Joe, if you're listening, sorry you couldn't make it again. Hey, how's it going? But yeah, he'll be doing news for the Mets, and I'll be doing stuff for the Yankees. But right now, I just have a few things that we could talk about with the Yankees. But then if any of you guys have, like, Mike, if you have any Pittsburgh news you want to share or anything, you can do that too. And John, if you have any Red Sox stuff you can share to, and Adam, you're always very vocal about your Pittsburgh team, so you can chime in too. So right now for the Yankees, I think are gonna be an interesting team this year. I think last year was kind of a down year in Aaron Boone's tenure as a manager, but with a lot of the moves I think they've made, they're anticipating that they're to get back into the make a run. We start with the Yankees officially re-signed Greg Allen to a minor league deal, and some of the reasons why I think this is great is he's a good depth player, and the deal gives him an automatic invite to Yankee spring training, and he'll be paid $1.1 million as a rookie again if he makes the big club right away. And he's also very, very fast, and with the bigger bases now that was just added last year, and especially with the pitch clock, they're kind of bringing this. You need that speed element in baseball to bring that back, and he's very good at swiping bags, so that's why they kept him. Even though he may not be that, his hitting is a work in progress, and he's very patient at the plate though, and he doesn't swing in unnecessary pitches. And as I mentioned, he can swipe bags. So any of you gentlemen got thoughts on that?
Why don't you guys take it away?
I don't know anything about the Yankees. All I know is I read Corbin Burns might be traded to the Yankees now. It came out yesterday, and they did sign Luke Weaver.
I
And I was just curious if that's why the Brewers put a 1-year deal on Burns yesterday. Would that help with the trade to the Yankees? Is that what that was about?
That's pretty much, it's like in any sport now, just like in football, you sign a veteran to a 1-year deal, and then you can choose to trade them if you want to, or keep them on another 1-year deal. So yeah, I would say the 1-year deal might help the trade with the Yankees.
So I'll give you guys some context with all that. So Corbin Byrne last year had kind of a little bit of a scuffle when it came to his arbitration case. And if you don't know what arbitration is, you're pretty much walking into a judge, jury, court, and they're going to destroy you. And it's your team. It's your GM. It's the front office. And they look for every reason why you shouldn't be paid. Dude just won the Cy Young in the National League, destroyed him. And they could not come together. He ended up losing the case, got some bad blood, ended up having a good year last year. He's very professional, great teammate. But that is another reason why he could be a guy that is traded. I don't see it. I think they'll let him go. If they don't win this year, you'll see him leave midway. And the Yankees have a really good rotation if it's healthy. And to some really strong bounce back candidates, and adding Marcus Stroman, they're going to be really good. I think they have a very diverse pitching staff. I think the bullpen is something they're going to have to worry about, and they're going to have to stay healthy. Judge has got to be on the field to win, to keep that balance. Rizzo's getting older. Stanton can't stay healthy. There's a lot of question marks when it comes to health. So the depth is big. So that Soto trade, when you get so excited about it, they lost a lot of really good young talent, even though they have a good organization, good minor league system, and they have all the money in the world. We've seen that money doesn't actually account to wins. With the Mets, with the Yankees, with San Diego, you have to have a balanced approach, and you have to create a really good team that's available. And that's going to be the one question mark they have, and possibly, in my opinion, the toughest by far, outside maybe the NL East division in baseball. And the Orioles are going to be the best team on the planet outside of LA and Atlanta. So having them in there, and those are all young bucks that love each other, it's going to be tough.
Yeah, youth is important now in baseball. As you mentioned, Mike, it's not like
youth is always important, Jamie.
Right, but especially nowadays, because baseball for years was always what the Yankees used to do, and they would go out and buy the team. And now you see a lot of teams now don't do that. They kind of follow the NHL, NFL model now, which is building through the draft and then signing free agents to team friendly deals. So that's how you build a team
Yeah.
now. And you would know about youth because the Pirates are very, very young. They're one of the youngest farm system and teams out there. So
Yeah, no doubt. And when you
Jamie,
said
I'm-
the Yankees have done a really, they don't
My-
go out and just sign a bunch of players anymore. Give me some examples. I mean, their payroll is off the charts still.
Huge, huge.
It's
payroll.
huge. I mean, they have Aaron Judge at 40 million next year, Get Kroll at 36, Stanton at 32, Soto. at
Aaron Judge
31.
was actually a draft pick by the Yankees. He wasn't a free agent. He was a
Yeah,
homegrown draft pick.
But Aaron Judge would not be a Pirate right now for $40 million. The Pirates budget right now is probably in the 75 million at a total. So that's 2 players on your team.
Right. The pay,
So
like you said, they're still going to get their payrolls high. But like I said, they've kind of focused on, like I said, last year they went a different route with playing all the young kids last year, and they still got a lot of good prospects in the pipeline that they do want to develop. It's just I feel like they're starting to groom prospects and then spend when they need to, even though their payroll's high. They are still doing a better job of.
Oh, they've
getting
always
more
done a good job of
youngsters in there,
development and stuff.
too.
It's just I was just kind of poking fun at you because they have all approaches because they have the ability to do that. When you have more money, you can develop better, you can hire better coaches. They can hit it from all facets. And that's why you have to get really creative when you're a small market. Tampa Bay, Oakland, different teams like that. And I think it's incredible what Baltimore did. You think about a semi big market. They've had a high payroll, and their highest paid player last year was Chad Davis. He was sitting at home, eating Twinkies, hanging out, watching baseball, doing his thing. But that's incredible. But when you're a small market team, you can't miss with the Chad Davis, especially if you do it twice. So you're going to see higher, year contracts, maybe not have the length with those smaller markets. And hopefully we're going to see a lot more of what we've seen recently. Some of these young dudes getting money before they've even touched the big leagues. And it's a high risk, high reward type thing. Acuna is probably the best example in recent years. Dude's easily a $35, $40 million player right now, and he's not getting paid that. And they've got him locked up for 8 years.
Right. Or you're going to see what you saw at the end of last year with teams like the Mets and some of these other teams that were trading their big contracts to get younger prospects. And the Yankees also were one of those teams. Is like I said, that's what I think you're going to see.
That's how they got Soto,
modern-day
right? They
baseball.
bolstered up, and then they had the assets and the surplus to go get a guy like Soto. And I know they're hoping that they can sign him and lock him up and keep him a Yankee.
Right. I do think that, but I also think they're going to use that same approach come July, August, and September to try to get younger again and add some more prospects at the end of the year like they did last year. So like
you're already bailing out that they're not going to win?
No, I think they're going to win. No, I think they're going to win.
You heard it here, folks. Jamie just gave up on his Yankees.
No, I think they're going
Already.
to win, but continue to
bookmark that.
even
Bookmark
develop
February
young
1st.
guys at the same time. Because if you saw what they did last year, they went on a winning streak at the end of the year with those young kids, and they swept the Astros in Houston with that.
Absolutely.
So-
Absolutely.
But I think they want to, like I said, win. But
No. The Yankees always want to win.
right? But the owners, the approach they're taking now is more focusing on better player development than it was when Steinbrenner's father was running.
Yeah,
the team.
no doubt.
That's what I'm-
Yeah, the game's completely changed.
That's what I
agree with you.
mean.
Yeah, absolutely.
Like you don't have teams that are. It's like baseball. They used to do what Dan Snyder did with the Commanders, where they would go fill their entire holes with free agents and never worry about the draft. Those days are the days of that are pretty much kind of over now.
Well, yeah, because you didn't have to worry about the draft because you had infinity rounds to 60 rounds to I think it was 40 and then to 20. I mean, you
Mhm.
think about they can just keep drafting and keep drafting and keep drafting. And guys really didn't have incentive to stay in school. Now they have the NIL. They have all these incentives to stay in school, not come out of high school. And then now even the minor leaguers, they're going to try to get the best guys and give them the best resources because they get paid better. It's a real job. It's not, like you're scrumming with recycling cans and getting a nickel. That's how it used to be. You just got paid nothing. These guys have an opportunity. So they want to get the right guys, give them the right things to be able to be successful. And the game's really evolved, really changed in a lot of good ways and some of them bad, but you take your lumps as you go. But as long as the, game's growing and it's fun and it's competitive, I love it. And I know people want a salary cap. I think a floor could work and then maybe a salary cap after that. But it's the one cool part about baseball is, you could be the lowest of lows when it comes to how much money's there and win on any given day. It's so cool to the highest of highs. It's awesome.
But like I said, that used to not always be the case when the Yankees would go out and like buy for a
I was talking about all the teams
and A-Rod or things like that.
Yeah, I was talking about all the teams when you put it all together because like it's an awesome time to be a fan because there's so much competition and they're expanding things. The playoffs were a lot of fun. 2 teams were in that nobody saw possibly getting there. Houston was scary. The Diamondbacks were just not a team that anybody thought was, going to get that hot and run through. So it's really cool to see 2 juggernauts fall and then, 2 teams fight to the death. It was really neat, I think, and good for baseball the way that turned out because you had a huge salary team and you had a semi-medium salary team. And then they went out and actually bolstered their team, their Arizona Diamondbacks in a tremendous way, but didn't lose their identity. And I think that's the biggest separator I see is they're trying to actually build a culture. That's a taboo word. People have used it for years, but you can see it when it's good. And they have a great team. They have great coaching staff that love each other. So does the Atlanta Braves. I think the Dodgers do as well. And that's the separator. I think that's why the Yankees have a hard time. You got to band those group of guys together like brothers, like the WWE Raw, my man down on the right. You want to have somebody's got to have your back. And when everything goes crazy, you want to be worried about the guy next to you, not yourself. That's a Navy SEAL approach. Love your brother, take care of him, and you'll never have to worry about anything in the world because you always have the concern on your right or on your left. And I think there's some teams right now that are doing an incredible job at that.
It's funny you bring a lot of that up because a lot of what you're talking about, the teams that are banded together like brothers, you're describing a lot of championship Red Sox teams.
Absolutely. They were one of the best back in the day. That's when I was in the league. Wow, they were so cool.
So when they were spending their money and blowing out their payroll, they were building around the one nucleus of guys they had, and they were adding the key components.
But they were doing it with their guys,
right?
And I think you're going to do this
and getting the 1 or 2 guys from the side, exactly. Yep.
But like that's something I've heard. Some of my buddies that play with the Braves and coaching staff, their GM actually goes down and asks questions like, "Hey, what do you know about this guy? How is this guy?" And he does it across the league. But if the players push back, they don't get him. It doesn't matter how good he is. And it doesn't matter if they're hearing it differently the other way. He's not going to disrupt that absolutely organic chemistry that they have and that balance of the new school, the old school approach. And I don't think you can quantify it like they want to. The human element is something that I think is forever going to be unquantifiable. But I think love is easy to see, and you can see dudes that love each other, and that team in Atlanta is special. You can see the disappointment. Everybody seemed like they took the blame and put it on their shoulders. It wasn't one dude. It seemed like they just had a knack to do things special because nobody had to have the credit, even the dude that was MVP in Acuna. So well said. Well said. That was one of my, favorite teams, and one of the coolest memories was I got traded from Boston to Pittsburgh, and that same year, in September, I believe, we were fighting in first. No, actually, we're still in first place in July, and they come into town, and I'm playing against them. I get a couple hits. Ortiz hit me on the head, gave me a hug, and I'm like, man, what a absolute full circle. I'm watching one of my favorite players, Dustin Pedroia, playing against him. Lester, and his story, I faced him when he was in low A rehabbing from his cancer, and I went into camp so late I didn't see any of these guys. I just made the taxi squad, never actually got activated. So it was just so surreal. And they came into our house and we won the series. And I'll never forget it. The crowd went nuts. PNC is amazing, especially when there's a lot of fans there. Pittsburgh loves baseball. And that moment will forever be in my mind because of the full circle of baseball. But those dudes would show up the next day and they would still look like a juggernaut.
Yep.
Like one person just flowing in. And it seemed like some way, somehow, every single time they were always lined up right. Like, here we go. Oh, it's 2 outs, 2 on. Ortiz didn't play and he's walking up. You're like, what? How is this possible?
Yeah.
Right. And it's like every single time I watched them when they were clicking and also when I played against them. It was unbelievable. One more story about the Red Sox for you. When I got traded, my manager called me. I'm in the grocery store getting groceries. My wife's at home and I'm already scanned through, about to pay. Phone rings. It says unknown. As a player, if you get an unknown, you're like, what's happening? You're either getting released, getting traded, or something bad just happened. So I pick it up. Ernie's like, hey, man, we'll let you know. You got traded to Pittsburgh. I was like, oh, man, where's their AAA? And he goes, oh, it's actually to the right. You're going to go to Pittsburgh. I was like, what? I'm going to the big leagues? Yes, you're going to the big leagues. We talk for a minute. He gets off. Ben Cherington calls me, says, you deserve this. Go get him. Now he's our GM with the Pittsburgh Pirates. Then Theo Epstein, I never had met Theo, called me, but he did trade for me. Went on, thanked me, said, you deserve this. And then, lo and behold, Francona calls me once again, never met the dude, says the exact same thing those two dudes did. And I was mind boggled.
Wow.
So that was the exact time. It was 2011. So right in the thick of it.
Yep.
The leadership stepped up. And that's what I think trickled down. And that is something that is a dying breed, but I'll go to Texas. What happened there? Chris Young gets hired. Super smart, Yale, Harvard dude, baseball dude first though. Hires Bochy. Bochy has a knack for pulling potential out of people, and they win the World Series immediately. And that's what, I think Terry Francona was one of the best at it, being able to balance all that. But the way he would tell you the truth, look you in the eye, tell you the hard things. He's somebody I've looked up to for a long time, and I've never actually had a conversation with him. I've just heard him from the side. I've watched his mannerisms, and I think when a guy can capture you like that, it's something special, and he has that special aura.
Yeah, that's awesome to hear that. Like everyone from the management staff reached out to you and made sure to tell you
The front office, man, like
that's amazing.
Yeah,
That's
and
awesome.
I'm in AAA. I'm on the roster, but like they have Veritek, they have Saltamacchia.
Yep,
So like,
yep.
and I knew where I was at. I was the third man up in line, and it didn't feel like I was seen a lot of times when you're in AAA and you're kind of sitting on the bench because Salty's got a stub toe that day and you don't know why. They don't tell you, but you find out later on. The fact that they called is remarkable. I had a couple manager. I had the same thing happen in a different way at Colorado, and what it means to the player and really just the person. I don't think you can explain it. So those things you always remember, and I'll always have those guys back just because of that moment. And I saw their best heart be showed to me. So it's really cool.
That's awesome.
Yeah, I that's a cool story, Mike. I like that. And I like I've always admired what that though, even though I'm a Yankee guy, he's one of the true managers that is good for the sport. He's basically saying he's one of those guys that says, look, you know what, go out and play the game right, or I'm gonna put you at blast for it. And that's hard to do nowadays with society and everything, but Terry's always stick to that. He's never changed, I feel like.
Yeah,
So,
Tito's a generational kind of manager, man. It's almost like he was new school, but old school, but new school enough to get these guys and pull out of them what he needed.
Mm-hmm.
So it was just he was amazing to watch with any team he coached, whether it was the Indians, whether it was Boston, he was amazing.
And I have a theory on that. Like, I believe that you teach the person and the personality before you ever do a philosophy. And too often the philosophy nowadays is thrown out and it's swallowed and swallowed and swallowed, but it's never digested. And I think Terry Francona did a great job, and the best managers I've ever seen do a great job of digesting that dude's personality, their story, showing empathy, and also trying to allow them to fail and learn and not condemn them for it. Give them the chance. If you believe in them, I think we, in our society in general, we lose hope in human beings way too fast when our entire history is built on grace, honor, courage, and vulnerability. And it's sad sometimes, faith, obviously. It's just sad that that's part of the world today. But, when it happens, it sticks out. And I think that's what's cool about it.
Agreed.
Yeah, I agree with that too. And as you mentioned with Aaron Judge, Mike, I was going to talk about right here. The Yankees are going to try to do a little bit of experiment in spring training where they're going to have Judge bat third, and then have Soto bat second.
Brilliant.
And I think
That's good.
it makes sense though, because like I said, when Aaron Judge first got there,
Who leads off?
I feel like it was pretty much all him doing the team. They never really had that true second home run hitter or true star teammate and guys around him like that they couldn't lean on him. I feel like they leaned on him a lot, but I feel like as of recently they've done a better job with the roster in terms of like adding guys like Soto, adding guys like Greg Allen, and adding other hitters that they had to not to have to rely on.
You haven't even said my
Judge.
favorite teammate yet, and I'm really sad about it. DJ
Garrett Cole?
LeMahieu. DJ LeMahieu. I love Cole, but DJ LeMahieu, I would go right now if he called me to the trenches.
Mhm.
Gamer through and through. He changes that team when he's on the field.
Mhm.
He's a Gold Glove caliber defender everywhere on the diamond. He's a bat to ball guy, which the Yankees have a hard time. His power plays tremendously in that ballpark, and nothing gets to that guy's nerves, heart, anxiety. Nothing. He's got ice in his veins. So I love when they picked him up. They treated him well, and he's done well there. It's really, really good to see.
His speed's underrated too. That's actually what's not
Yeah.
talked about either. Is he can fly around the bases, and he doesn't try it, but I think he could swipe bases too if he wanted.
Well,
to,
that's the
especially
thing.
with
It's hard when you
base.
play for the Yankees because you don't want to get thrown out with Judge up. You don't want to get thrown out with Stanton up or Soto or Rizzo. So you have all these big boppers. You don't want to run to an out. So you have to be 1,000% sure. So it's
Right,
tough.
but like I said, when they added the bigger bases last year, the bigger bases was to the purpose of it was to create for more steals and bring the speed element back to the game.
I think it was the
along with
clock,
the
Jamie.
clock.
I think it was
I
the
mean,
clock that helped, and the pickoff rule or the disengagement rule.
the clock helps because it makes the game go faster, but the bigger bases allowed for more steals. Because I don't know if you know, but they played with bigger bases back in the
Mhm.
80s too, which is why you saw a lot of speed back in that era. And then they went away from it, and then they just brought it back last year, the bigger bases.
Good stuff. Good stuff.
But yeah, at least Juan Soto, I feel like now, at least, and with the guys they have now, they have guys that can actually step up if Judge struggles. And I think Soto could be one of those people. That's why they got him batting second over Judge.
Who
I
leads
think.
off, Jamie?
It's usually LeMahieu, but they don't know who's going to be there.
You want to know my opinion? I don't know the Yankees roster.
It might be Alex
Sure.
Verdugo now from
Nope.
the Red Sox. They're thinking about leading off.
Giancarlo Stanton.
Still not
is-
happy about that move, by the way.
I would lead off Stanton.
Oh, Verdugo.
You hear me, guys?
Yeah.
Go ahead.
I would lead off Stanton.
That'd be dynamite.
Really?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yep.
Soto, Judge.
I thought they were going to get rid of him because
They
he's
can't.
just no, but the guy's gets hurt like
Yeah,
every
so who
year. though.
wants
He's
him?
never 100% healthy.
When he is running on all cylinders, I mean, he is a good bat to ball kind of guy. I mean, obviously he has that crazy power, but he is
It's
a bat to ball
unbelievable.
guy. I mean, I can see where the leadoff comes from. I can see what you're saying.
No. It's not the bat to ball. I think it'll increase. He's actually a big swing and miss guy. And I think what'll change by putting him at the top, if he walks to the plate to lead off the game, he's a DH more often than not. So he doesn't have to run in. He can be ready to hit. He walks out there. As a catcher, I have to think this dude's ready to hit this first pitch. The very thing you want to do as a pitcher and a catcher is get strike one. So that Kyle Schwarber moved to the leadoff spot with the Phillies. They took off, and he's hit 40 plus homers because it is terrifying to throw to that dude. And his walk rate went way up. So it made the team better because the speed element, like he said, it's completely changed. You can have runners all throughout your lineup. You don't need them at the top. And it's the psychological for both Stanton and that pitcher and that other team to think, I'm about to face 3 guys that have won the MVP. And they're all completely different, and they're all completely terrifying. You have to pitch them all completely different, and they can all turn around a game in a heartbeat. And then you follow it up with another dude that creates good at-bats with Rizzo. So you have 2 really high strikeout guys with 2 guys that are probably top 20 in the league on pitches per plate appearances that can hit 25, 30 homers. They may be
So
top
you have
2.
a possible third one with Soto if he pans out too.
But that's
So
what I
you
was saying.
can
Yeah.
have 3.
But then you stack the other guys at the bottom, and then all of a sudden 7, 8, 9 is, and then Stanton comes up. Whoops.
Oh, I get it. So you're saying you don't go for the speed right away. You enjoy the ride with the power hitters, and then you go for the speed after that. It's kind of like so you're saying this is a weird theory, but it's like the Pizza Hut stuffed crust pizza. You can't.
Yeah, you got to
go
eat it
for the-
backwards. That's so good.
You can't go
I
for
like
the
that
cheese right
analogy.
away. You got to
I
enjoy
like
the
that.
ride, and then you go for the big
Oh,
cheese.
that's
the
so
easy
good.
I like it.
thing.
Oh man, it may be even a stuffed crust with the pepperoni. Remember that one? Yeah, the pepperoni on top of it. Oh,
No, but I like your,
That's good.
so you're saying the Yankees should approach that type of theory to their lineup like that, where you start off
if Stanton's
slow
good with
the
it, you
power
always
guys,
want
and
to
then you
ask the
go for
player.
speed.
Yeah, when a guy's making $32 million and he's been a franchise guy and he's a guy that could come out and hit 65, 70 homers
Mhm.
next year if he's healthy, you always ask. And if he's like, yeah, sure, let's do it.
That's a
Well-
big question. If he could
Mhm.
stay healthy, because every time he's come here, he's out for like half the season, and then he comes back. He's never been 100%.
Yeah, he's got to get recalibrated. Jamie, have you seen the man? He's not human. He's got to get recalibrated. He's
I like
freak.
him on a
Well, they
good
said-
day. I don't know if he could still have those good days though if he keeps getting hurt.
That's true. It's true.
But I like your
down.
thinking though. I agree with that.
Thanks. I like yours too. Stuffed crust.
Yeah. That's my favorite, one of my favorite pizzas from there. But anyway, back to our regular scheduled program.
There-
And John, I know you were being sarcastic and facetious about Alex Verdugo going to the Yankees. Does that give you Johnny Damon flashbacks, sort of,
I
or
mean, kinda, yeah. he's a
another
clubhouse-
Yankee player another player we took from your Red Sox?
He's a clubhouse guy, man. And to go back to what you're saying, like he's one of those guys that you can build a culture around. He was always one of the guys in the dugouts when it's time for a rally, time to get down, and time to get ready. Like he was one of the first guys in there, like the one first guy to get everyone up. So it's definitely a takeaway from our team. It sucks. Like he's gone. Turner's also gone. He just signed with the Blue Jays. It's just it's going to be a weird looking team set up, put together this year. It's almost like it's going to be a lot of just people thrown together. They're obviously going a lot more farm system heavy this season.
Mhm.
They're dropping payroll, so it's going to be an interesting season for them. I'll tell you that much. It's going to be interesting.
Cora's still the
They'll be okay.
manager, right?
They'll be okay.
Oh yeah,
Yeah, they'll be sneaky. They'll be sneaky.
always are, baby. I feel like
Yep.
they always are. They'll make a little cool couple moves to the deadline. They'll be there. They'll be there
Yep.
at the end.
And
Is
I don't
Cora,
think
is
they're,
Cora still the manager?
Mhm.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I
wanted
don't
to
think
make
they're
sure
done, by
Alex
the way,
Cora-
John.
What's that?
I don't think they're done. The free agency market in general is really slow. I mean, you don't normally see a type of Blake Snell still out there. And because of that, we got Chapman,
Mhm.
and
Yeah.
it's a different type of market. And I think guys are taking their time. They're trying to figure things out. Some guys are asking for way too much money. Other guys are waiting to be in certain places. So it's a trickle down effect. And there's still a lot of really good players out there.
Mhm.
So I think the Red Sox and some of these teams that maybe haven't done a ton except some trades, you're going to see them maybe, throw some fillers here and there, but you're like, man, that was a good one. But they have a really good, amount of players that they could, play with and get some big asset if they wanted to in the middle of the season, by dropping that payroll, getting under, I think they're trying to get under their luxury tax if they haven't. Yeah. And if they do, I mean, that weaponizes them to move forward with all the thunder power in the world.
Yeah, I don't really know. I don't really know much about the Sox, but I know that you that trend of them going younger started when they traded, what was it? They traded Mookie and some of their other guys to the Dodgers. That's when it kind of started, I think.
Yeah, pretty much when Dombrowski was put out of town, it was a whole different philosophy that started when Bloom came into town. So it was a whole different like mindset of what we're gonna do. It's almost like Bloom walked in and Henry was like, "Okay, first order of business before you do anything, get rid of Mookie." And it was just like it was kind of the way the Mookie situation was handled was a little, but yeah, it's definitely a different philosophy since Dombrowski's left. So
John, what do you think of
I-
the Chris Sale trade?
what was that?
What do you think of the Chris Sale trade?
I like it. I mean, he's not consistent. He's awesome when he's on. He's on when it's sale day. Amazing, but it's just he just could not stay healthy or stay on the field, and unfortunately,
It's a win for both organizations. I completely
Yep.
agree.
Yep.
Sale's going to thrive in Atlanta, and the pressure's going to be off.
Yep, I think he's.
And-
I think he's going to do great. To be honest with you, I think he's going to do really well.
I agree. Yeah, I was a big fan of that, and I just kept saying, how is Atlanta playing ultimate fighter chess right now compared to most people in the league outside of LA? LA is the smartest franchise in baseball history right now.
LA's made some amazing moves this year. This is wild. It's just
yeah, absolutely.
It's like they're playing MLB. They're playing MLB 2K. It's like, geez.
Yeah, they're creating players and saying, "Oh, well, you ran out of points and money," and they're like, "Oh, well, we'll defer it. We'll get it down the line." But our interest will actually pay for that down the line. It's crazy.
As a Yankee fan, I must say it was actually a pleasure doing business with them because the show. Well, we didn't really. We actually got involved in the we without really getting involved in this deal, but the Shohei Ohtani deal where they had to obviously make it a team friendly deal and they paid him all that money. The Yankees were able to get 2 prospects back from the Dodgers, so that was actually thank you Dodgers for re-signing Ohtani because you made us get younger in our prospect pool there. We needed those 2 prospects too.
I thought for
You
Ohtani was going to Toronto. I thought for sure he was going to Toronto.
No chance. No.
Okay.
That was all hearsay.
Okay.
You know what I mean? Like,
Yeah.
But I'll say, hey, but the Dodgers got y'all's best shortstop prospect. He's a top 10 shortstop prospect, so they got to do where I think catching and shortstops need time to develop. So they got their new Seager. So it was a win for them too. They were I'm telling you, they dominated this offseason.
The 2 prospects that the Yankees got back are actually they're one of their top 10, the top 5 prospects in their system already that they got back.
You gave away
So
your second best prospect, is what I'm saying, and you got two more. So you lost one and gained one.
Yeah, it was a wash. So
well, it was better than a wash, but like the Dodgers nailed that trade.
Yeah,
because they found the thing they needed, and it was the only place that they were vulnerable in the minor leagues at the highest level. I mean, they have so many good players all the way through their system, and their arms are off the charts. They have the highest velocity in AA and AAA in baseball on average. It's crazy, man. They have done some special things over there, and that's what happens when you have all the resources, all the money. You're hiring incredible MLB advisors. You're hiring specialists. They do things right, is what they do.
You know what? I can't wait to see the 2 sides of Aaron Boone this year, the calmness in his press conferences, but then when he argues for calls and he gets ejected, get ready for that because that's always a viral moment right there when he gets
he's in a season. He's got to win. He's got to do big things this year.
I was just about to ask that. I was going to say, Jamie, how short of a leash do you think Boone's on this year?
It could be a short leash if they don't get it going. But the Yankees
what do you mean by short leash? Like explain.
Like are they gonna like when the All-Star break comes, you look at where they are in the standings? If is it World Series or bust? I'm just curious where
Gotcha.
Obviously I'm sure he's on the hot seat being in New York and being how they performed. But where do you think it's the World Series or bust thing, or if they look like halfway through the year, they're like, yeah, we're all set, make a move in season?
Well, I do think it's a World Series or bust thing, but the one thing you got to remember about the Yankees. The Yankees like to believe in continuity and everything, and I feel like they've always been like that, no matter who they've had as manager, and that's what's made them such a successful franchise. Is like even Brian Cashman, say what you want about him, but he's also the reason why the Yankees won 3 out of 4 World Series in the 90s was because of him when he first took over. But he's learned to adapt. I feel like you can say that's questionable, but I just think I don't think the Yankees feel like they want to get rid of Boone and then start over with like some unknown guy that where the Yankees don't, like I said, they're a team that believes in continuity. So I don't know what that leash is going to be.
And how much of it is even his fault?
It's
Nobody talks about
not
that.
a lot of it is his fault. And managers in baseball, like I said, they're totally
most of them are
different, I feel
facilitators,
like,
Jamie.
than coaches in the NFL or
Your stars aren't
things
performing.
like that.
It's
Well, no, and too, like, these guys don't
No,
like to
they were performing. It's just last year was one down year because they were playing a lot of young guys. This year, I expect them to get back to what they were under him.
What was their record last year? It wasn't that bad of a year.
It was 82-80, but for them, that's bad.
That is, and I don't think it's World Series or bust. I think
No.
it's top 5 team or bust, and they got to make the playoffs every year. They're the Yankees.
Like I said, but 82-80, it was one bad year, but you also got to remember it was 82-80, but they were playing a bunch of young prospects. At the end
But
of
they
the
were still in the
year.
wild card hunt.
yep.
They were playing a bunch of
For a
young
while.
kids at the end of the year too.
Hey, were we talking about Joendy Vargas, the shortstop?
Yes.
I just, like I said, maybe they'll give him. I don't know. Maybe they give him a chance once Dominguez comes back in 6 months. Maybe that'll be the litmus test. I don't know. Is how Dominguez keeps developing, but we'll see. Maybe that'll be the final straw. I don't know.
You got any Pirates questions before I got to jump off here, big guy? You're usually grilling me a little bit, and I kind of miss it.
I'm kind of just letting you slide right now.
Yeah, I'm talking about the Yankees. I'm almost getting sick a little. Next, he's going to go to Cincinnati. I'm going to throw up in my mouth.
All right. So my buddy, I told
Funny,
him,
Mike.
my buddy told me, I told him you were coming on the show, and he had a question that kind of like caught my ear, caught my eye. He wanted to know if do catchers all get along for the most part?
No.
Or how do they decide like how to catch, the splitting of the time? Like last year, the ace only pitched the one catcher. Do other catchers get mad about that?
So you only have about this much control. So if some teams are going to play their high money guy and ride or die, some guys are going to pick him because it's the personality, it's the human. Some people are just going to ride the analytics. Sometimes it's relationship between the pitcher and catcher. Winning always plays. So there's a lot of things that go into it. You got to look at it and say, where are we at? If you're not winning and you have a veteran catcher, he's probably going to be on the bench at some point, especially later in the season, or he's going to be traded like last year with Hedges. And I think the value of the catcher is high or higher than it's ever been because of the analytics and then being able to quantify how important it is to keep a strike, how important it is to bring a ball into the zone and have a strike, how important it is to block the ball. And it's incredible because 90 feet was stolen as easy as I'd ever seen it last year. Guys that could prevent that in multiple type ways were game changers because they quantify it by like, he had 5 defensive run save. He had 10 defensive run saves. And I always tell people, if you don't understand that, flip that to RBIs. So all the RBIs he's not producing offensively, he's actually taking those RBIs away from the other team. So he's actually a great offensive player. If he's a plus 20 defensive run dude, you're talking about a dude that had 20 plus RBIs. You add that on top of it. And I use that with Ke'Bryan Hayes when he wasn't hitting good. And he had 60 RBIs every year, 70 RBIs when you put it all together because of all the runs he's saving and the confidence you probably can't quantify of the pitcher being able to say, I got to throw a strike. and I got to let my guys play behind him. If you don't think the guy's going to catch it behind the plate, or you don't think he's going to block with a guy on third, that psychology is not talked about enough because it's important. If you don't trust what he knows or that he cares about your ERA or the game, he just cares about himself. So he calls a heater, 1-2, elevated fastball, knowing it's not the right pitch, knowing you're a secret role guy because he thinks the guy's going to run. Like Pudge used to do that. He was notorious for it. Guys didn't like throwing to him. He was a great catcher. He's a Hall of Famer, but guys didn't like throwing to him. And that's not, I think, the way of a catcher. You're a service leader, and Clint Hurdle calls a catcher a CEO of run prevention. And last thing is, another thing they quantify is how connected is he with the coaching staff to the team? Because a catcher is the only dude that's not actually in play. He's out of play, right? So he's the closest to that staff. He's got the relationship with the umpire. You know, we study umpires back in the day. We take notes, study them, understand where he's giving, and then kind of play into it. Like if he's off that day and he's calling a certain pitch, it's not normal and it's helping us. You got to play that card. Hey, yeah, that was a good pitch. That was a ball, but you called it. Stay with it. And I think that's the way to go because this guy's been there all day, and you just play that game because you wear so many hats as a catcher. The great ones do. I took pride every single day when I showed up to how can I make my guys better? How can I get through today and try to win, whether he has the best stuff or worst stuff? And that all starts with me is being a servant and figuring out, you know, what can I do today to win and look at circumstances most people don't even like to look at, let alone try to look at. It's a long answer, but it's so hard because every team's different. That's why baseball's so cool. And there's so many voices.
So did we sign Chapman and Perez because they could bring like knowledge of winning into this team?
That definitely helps. Yeah, like you bring in some guys that are, you know, from different places, Cuba and I believe Venezuela. So like you have two different cultures coming into the clubhouse. They can really love on, really cool stories with both of them. They've both had struggles. They've both had huge successes. So they can really pour into those young guys and help them grow. But for me, I think it's the durability. Chapman is still electric. He really reinvented himself. He has that split finger, and he also gives Bednar and Holderman a chance to take a breath.
100-mile-an-hour fastball.
Yeah. And he's done it. He's been there. He's been booed. He's been in trouble, and he can really do a lot of things for that team and that organization. And he's a high profile guy. So if you're a Pittsburgher, you're like, yes, they did it. $10.5 million reliever, best reliever on the market, best left-hander on the market. And what that did is it made our bullpen, which is our strength, that much better. It allowed the Rule 5 guy who has a chance to be really, really good, 98, 99 left-handed, to probably go to AAA and grow, but be around Chapman. And then Perez, in my opinion, he's humble enough because he did it with Texas. He got pushed out of the rotation and went out in there and dominated the bullpen. So he's going to get his chance. He's been durable, and that's what the Pirates need. Him and Gonzalez are huge because they need innings. They need innings, and they need time to allow those young, filthy animals to get up there because we have some really, really good, strong pitching prospects in AA and AAA right on the cusp. But now you don't have to rush them because you got some reliability. And if they stay healthy, we're good. We have depth. We're still going to, I think, get another pitcher and possibly another guy that used to play for the Yankees. Gary Sanchez is a guy I'm talking about because we still need an offensive-minded catcher because Indy Rodriguez got hurt. So
that's who you want to get, Gary Sanchez. But I think it's funny though, Mike, for a guy who didn't want to talk Yankees, and you're kind of you're still talking ex-Yankees, even though they're Pirates now.
Well, yeah, I mean
hey,
it's just the way it goes, man. Just the way it goes.
But you said you didn't want to talk Yankees anymore.
You can't talk baseball without talking about Yankees.
Right
Yankees.
Like,
I got one last question. If I could just sneak it in real quick before we get
Yeah,
out of
man,
here.
I got about 10 minutes. You're good.
All right, cool. So I just wanted actually your opinion. It's not team based or anything. The way the league's going and how they're looking at things as far as getting away from umps and going electronic and going robot, things like that. As a catcher, having a frame and he was making that as an art behind the plate. What are your thoughts on that? Taking away the human aspect of the umpire and going to some kind of electronic or robot strike ball reader.
I don't just hate it. I think it will be the start to the end of the game.
Agreed. I agree.
And the reason why I say that now, I have a solution for everybody that's whining about the automated strike zone. Is nobody complained when Maddox, Glavin, and Smoltz had a 48-inch plate. Period. I missed the times where guys got flipped upside down, and I missed the times when the bad guy and the guy that yelled at the umpire, got the ball, the strike 5 feet outside, and the guy that was yelling on the mound threw a ball right down the middle, and they balled it. I missed those personality. I missed those moments. I didn't like it when I was up the plate, but it is what it is. And
It's the game. It's the game.
Both ways, yeah. And what I'll say is they have an opportunity to do what they did in the fall league, and they did it. I'm not sure which level last year, to do the challenge system.
AAA, they did it because I went to a Red Wings game, and it's fast though when you do the challenge.
Yeah. And that's the cool
Yeah.
part, because it's the same system the umpire is getting when he's calling ball and strikes if it's automated. So my whole thing is let it be, and let's see what happens, but use that as a chance to help in Vegas. It's going to build revenue. It's going to get more attention there, because everything you can bet on is making the game cooler. So like, people love betting, and it's making baseball more interesting because you're waiting to see, did I do it? And you can make bets so fast in real time. I just learned some of this stuff recently. I was mind blown. That's going to be one of them. Did the challenge accept, and you have like 10 seconds to get the bet in, right? Or it just gives a better element instead of ball or strike automated. That's boring, right? It's boring.
Mhm.
The human element's fun. I want to see arguments. I want to see
I love it.
fights. I want to
I'm
see
here
all
for
of
it,
it.
man.
Yeah, because it's part of the
I'm here for
game,
it.
and it's really the only thing that slows the game down, and the personalities come out, because it has sped up. And like
missed
you never see a fight break out, a tension come, a bat flip, and the catcher follow him down the first baseline. The umpire's yelling at the pitcher. You never see the fans turn away. You see them stand up, engage, and start screaming and yelling and encouraging. It's like the WWE.
That's what it becomes
Mixed it
WWE.
together.
I was going to say
Exactly.
that's what it becomes wrestling.
Yeah, and I think
Yep.
there's something to that. I think
There is.
personality is so fun, and I think in sports in general, since you guys are sports gurus, I'm not a sports guru. I'm a baseball guru. I love the game, but the personality that they're showing in the NBA and the NFL, there's no way hockey's not right behind. There's no way baseball can't be right behind it. You got to brand these guys. That's why the NIL thing is alive and well, right? Their brand is their business, and baseball is trying to do that. And each guy that brands himself better, once again, why you talk about so many Yankees? Because if you play with the Yankees, everybody knows your name.
Yep.
And that's the whole mindset now, is like, how can we grow the game? How can we get into a different demographic? Because it's really older, middle-aged men that love the game. Well, it's changing in all aspects. They're doing some really good things. Like I said, some bad things, but they're taking their lumps well. And as long as they don't try to do things too fast, which they love to do, and cause controversy, which controversy, as we all know, has clicks, has eyes, and that's probably some of the reason why they do it. But I like where baseball's at. I do not want the automated strike zone, because if you're here's a great example. They have the ability to do the automated foul ball, fair ball. Why not just do that? Why not do something that's actually almost impossible to see, and that actually would play, and you could make fun. You could have fun with it, right? It goes over, and like hockey, you see the maybe buzzer or something. Make it fun, or a cannon goes off, or smoke, whatever. It'd be fun.
Thank you. Awesome. Thank you for that.
Yeah, no problem. Anytime. I love cool questions, and I love hearing different perspectives. Like if it is something that fans want or don't want, and so often they want it, and I don't think they understand once they get it, they can't get it. They can't take it back.
Right.
And that's the one thing. It's not a trial and error thing. There's a reason why they're doing the challenge play, because if you watched one of those games in the fall league when they tested the automated strike zone, it was dull. You could feel like strike, because there's no personality in the umpire.
Nope.
Right? As he becomes a robot. So
I agree.
what else you got, guys? I got a couple more minutes.
I still think the
Son-
pitch clock was the best thing that ever could happen in baseball, because like I said, it makes games go faster.
Yeah,
now.
except the injuries it caused. But other than that, yeah, you're right.
Yeah.
So,
But I'm just saying, like they wanted the pit cut because people don't want to see a 3-hour game. They want baseball games to go fast.
I don't think anybody that's at the, and I'll say this, and I'd say this to anybody that says this, there's nobody that wants to spend $50 for a ticket and it go faster.
Yeah, I think it's definitely for TV.
It's
demographics.
all for TV. So
Yep,
like
agreed.
I completely disagree. And that's why MLB's going all in with this TV stuff. And they want it faster because faster means more showtime, more airtime for teams, more ads and revenue. If you can play more games and it can be more consistent, you are going to be better suited to make more money because you know that's going to end at least before 3 hours. So you can play in that next game, boom, at that 3-hour mark. As consistent as they can get it is what they want because that's what you need.
Mm-hmm.
You see what I'm saying? And that's part of it. It's a business too, but I really believe that, you know, the game at the field, because of what I have to do, it's not easy to keep up sometimes. Like if things happen really fast and you're in line, you missed it. You missed the inning, you missed everything. And because it's so fast, they can't get it back up on the scoreboard. You can't see it live on TV because there's no time. And watching that scramble is tough. And then they took 2 more seconds away this year. So it's going to be a little bit faster. The breaks in between with commercials are even faster. That makes it harder on the people behind the scenes to be able to produce a better product for you guys. So there's give and take, and there's a lot of people good people that had to leave the game because it is so fast, but it's getting younger behind the scenes. So,
all right, Mike, I have 2 questions.
yeah, roll with it.
We did sign Willie Peralta. That was the other pitcher we signed.
The Pirates just now?
Yeah.
When was that? Recently? I didn't see that one. I haven't done my research. I don't do my research. If I don't see it, I don't do anything until February if I don't talk to the guys.
I
So
think it was yesterday. And
yesterday,
then
that's why I didn't see it.
this battle for second base, who's gonna win? Bay, Pegaru, or Trilo, Gonzalez, or Williams?
But
who's gonna be third?
Williams isn't in the mix.
He's-
I don't think I think Bay would have to do remarkable things. It's going to be Triolo, Nick Gonzalez, but Peggy is my pick. Peggy's the second best player on that team when it comes to talent. Second best.
A lot of people are saying Williams was gonna be in the mix.
He's going to be in AAA, and he needs to be in AAA, and it's best for his career.
Okay.
I would also say the same thing about Bay. He'll be in
was like
AAA.
Pirates website. They said Williams is probably the best one for the job.
The best defensive guy outside of Triolo, but like it depends on injuries. It depends on circumstance. But Triolo's the best glove. Peggy's the best overall player when it comes to this. Bay is the wild card when it comes to, you know, who he could be. You want to see Gonzalez take off, and then you can do different things with Peggy. But I mean, it's hard for me to think that Peguero, who reminds me of some of the most talented guys I've seen in a long time. I mean, he runs like Acuna. He hits for the ball comes off the bat like Acuna. He doesn't have the bat to ball skills yet. He doesn't have the ownership of who he is yet. And Acuna, I'm talking about the same age. And Acuna kept getting better. And that happens to be his favorite player. And I saw a shift in him last year with his personality and the want to and the care. And I was like, this is going to be cool. This kid's going to be really good. And I think with the right chances, he could take off. And I'll tell you, the future is Tamar. That dude's something.
And what did you think of Jorge Polanco going to Seattle?
I
don't know if you saw that or not.
Yeah, I did. I love it for the Twins. I get it for I really get it for Seattle, but I wanted the Pirates to be that trade. I wanted Blake Snell to sign there and then have to open up Pandora's box for him so they couldn't take on that money. And then one of our plethora of guys, like you just brought up, right, goes there and helps out. But it didn't happen. But they still need some pieces that we have, and they still have more pitching than we have at the big league level. So maybe it could still happen. So I liked it. I always like stuff like that. I like when teams do something and it's a little bit bold, but it helps both sides.
That was like the Twins' only off-season move.
They don't need anything. They need their Brian Buxton to be healthy, because they have two of the most dynamic players in baseball. If those guys are healthy, that Royce, the third baseman, and Broxton, and then the shortstop that was an MVP. So you're talking about three of the best athletes in the game when they're healthy. So they're going to be good. And they can pitch. They're going to be sneaky good. But I think that division is going to be way better than it has been the years past. They're all coming forward. I still think Detroit has a little bit to go, but their pitching, especially their young arms, are scary. And then I would bet on Terry Francona and Stephen Vogt all day long in Cleveland. The White Sox are going to be non-existent, in my opinion. So,
All right. You got any more questions for Michael?
I'm good. Thank you so much, man. I appreciate it, man. Thank you for answering what we had.
hey, no
Appreciate
problem.
you.
Hey, nice meeting you, John. Nice meeting you, Jamie.
Likewise,
Hey.
man. Thank you.
My Pirates, man, please get the internet fixed. You know, you got to get the Geek Squad out there. Don't go to Comcast. Go get my Geek Squad dudes.
He's getting the upgrade.
Yeah, it's
Yeah,
getting an upgrade. Upsize me, please. Yeah. Yeah. All right, man. I appreciate you guys. Thanks for the grace. It was a little late. God bless you and have a good night.
Mike, thank you for coming on, man.
Anytime, guys.
Oh, all right. Well, that was Mike McHenry. Very, very vocal, very knowledgeable gentleman. What'd you guys think?
Awesome.
Spring
Man.
trading is going to be interesting, and I think it's going to be an interesting season. But I really like this perspective, Mike's perspective on the game going faster, because I like for me, I'm a fan, but I actually would rather watch a faster game on TV and at the stadium, even though, like I said, we disagreed on that. He was saying fans who watch it at the ballpark don't want to see it fast, but it's all for TV. But like I said, I just think it being so slow for years that I like watching it at the ballpark fast and on TV and the ballpark with the pitch clock.
Yeah.
See, the one thing I don't like about that, say you go to, well, I mean, I've been to Fenway. Obviously, John, you saw my picture outside of there and all that. But like, if I was a fan, obviously you guys know I went to Wrigley Stadium at Wrigley Field. It's in the picture. That is my picture of Wrigley. But like, if you go to these stadium, even Yankee Stadium, and you want to tour it, are they going to let you walk around after? Are they going to let you? You know what I mean? Now with these games moving along, you don't have time to really walk and enjoy the stadium.
Growing up, even like just like, I mean, I'm not trying to be like an old head or try to like back in the day kind of thing, but I think I like it when he said, like, if I'm watching it on TV, not for nothing, I'm not watching it. It's background. I'm doing a lot of other stuff, and obviously, bases loaded, two on, I'm watching key things, key outs, and I'm looking, I'm watching at the end of innings. But if I'm there, I mean, I want the experience. I don't want to be getting there and boom, 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 boom. I go grab a beer. I come back and innings gone. Now all of a sudden it's 9:30 time to go. Like I'm there to have an experience and get away from everything else outside of the four walls of Fenway Park. Once I walk in, I go up the ramp. I look at the field. I don't want to go. I don't want to leave, obviously, but I don't want to get rushed out of there at 9:30, 9:45. Go to 11:15. I don't give.
That's how it used to be in the 50s and the 60s.
Right.
Games were that fast.
I mean, I get it for the he's not wrong. I mean, and to pair it back like he was with WWE. Wrestling, even AEW, a lot of them, TNA, when they get a TV deal, they do a lot of picture-in-picture. And they even just got, WWE just signed a massive deal with Netflix on the streaming. Like, that's why the scripted is, obviously baseball isn't scripted, but you want to have time frames and constraints so okay, now we have instead of 30 seconds, we have 45 seconds. That's one more commercial. That's 5 million more from this person. So I get it on TV, but it just stinks, and it's an experience, man. Like when I go there, I want to just take it all in and just enjoy it. I think, but I think the line needs to be drawn with the human element as far as like umpires and things like that. I think that's the one part you need to keep. And that's why I asked him that question. I think that's the one piece you can't get rid of. Like it's just so monotonous and so boring of it just being like, yep. And it's not his call anymore. And it takes away from the great catchers like Pudge, who framed, and it was an artwork to frame it up, and the ump knew what he still called it strike three. You know what I mean? it's those kind of things I think that are really like keys of the game. You need to keep those to really keep it what it is and what it has been.
Jason Varitek from her too.
Oh, dude, the goat. Oh man,
But he
I would
had some
love to
hitting
see-
skill.
on a side note, I would love to see him. I would love to see him be a manager for the Sox. I don't know if he's interested or if it would be. I would just love to see it. I think it would be awesome.
Yeah, anything. I meant to ask you about the Tyler O'Neill trade, like what you really thought. We just kind of touched on it briefly. How important is it to get that bat in the lineup?
I mean, it definitely it's good to have that. It's good to have. I feel like it's a diverse, more of a content and a power. But I think, like I said, I think with the new GM and the new way that they're looking, I think they're looking at a lot of the guys in the farm system, and they're kind of betting on those guys coming along as the season goes on. But yeah,
Jamie, I was trying to ask you why they
What?
sent Oscar Gonzalez and Jeter Brown. Like, are they
You mean Jeter Downs? You mean it's not Jeter Brown?
sorry. Are they they didn't even like give him a chance to go through spring training or what?
Jeter Downs he's not with Boston anymore. He's with the he's with the Nationals because I saw him play with the Red Wings last year.
It
He's not
said
with the Sox anymore.
the
yeah. Downs they got rid of Downs.
Yankees. They both got sent to AAA. Wilkes-Barre.
Who did Oscar Gonzalez did?
Oscar Gonzalez and Downs.
Yeah, Oscar Gonzalez did that. You mean Victor Gonzalez? It's Victor Gonzalez from the Dodgers.
No, it's Oscar Gonzalez who played for the Indians, and then he played for the, I think, St. Louis last year.
Yeah, I guess they sent him. Well, no, they sent him down to AAA to do the same thing with Greg Allen, get him a shot in spring training, see if he makes it.
All right.
Yeah.
We ready to wrap this up, boys?
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah.
John, I know we got a big show on Saturday morning, 8:00.
Ready for it, baby. So excited.
Me
Mhm.
too. I love talking to Paul. Going across the pond, talking a little Niner football with good old Paul Hope. That'll be fun. I'm excited about this. I love talking to Paul. But next Thursday will be the big one. I won't talk about that yet. But James, go ahead, wrap it up.
Okay, so first of all, it looks like we're almost out of time for our show. So, John, since you're our newest member and our newest podcaster to the team, where can we find you on social media?
You can find us across on IG, on Twitter, and also on YouTube at it's the same. It's at Share Shot Sports.
Adam?
Sports Talking It, Driving to the Top Productions, YouTube, same, Driving to the Top.
Yep, and then you can always find me, yours truly, at or at Bill's Chat 1 at Bill's Mafia Chat, and also at Jamie Malloy, the unbiased journalist, at DJ Dog Kings on Twitter, X, whatever you want to call it. And then you can find me at Driving to the Top Productions, where I host an NFL podcast called the Buffalo Sports Conversation Room every Tuesday with Joe Dalio. And then Joe and I will also, after the 13th, we'll be hosting a baseball podcast called the New York Baseball Conversation Room. Or we're working on the title and the intro and everything, but he'll be talking news with the Mets, and I'll be talking about the Yankees, and we're going to merge our minds together to create one big show. So stick around for that. And then you can also find me on DefiantTakesFootball.com, where I write stories about Syracuse football, the Bills, and also spring football. And don't forget, folks, season 1 of the new merged spring league, the UFL, aka known as the Premier Spring Football League. The first kickoff is scheduled for Saturday, March 30th, as the reigning XFL champion Arlington Renegades will be playing host to the two-time defending USFL champion Birmingham Stallions. And as they say, everything's bigger in Texas, and spring football just got stronger. So, anyways, folks, thank you very much for listening, and we'll see you next time on this show. Bye, guys.